Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for joining the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Well-Stoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Well-Stoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble when asking for a quote, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and this is the warm-up. This is where we get ready for Derby County. I know that we've signed a player. I were on battle lines with Connor over on One Leeds when we signed the player. So, yes, I will be doing a reaction directly after this stream. You will be thrown straight in if you're watching on YouTube and you're just sticking around. So that's absolutely great. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. It will automatically, once this one ends, that one will begin, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. But this little part of it, this warm-up, this separate show, if you like, this is not Harry Clark focused. This is to get ready for Derby. And can United bounce back from an absolutely horrific result? The first thing I want to say, though, tonight is thank you so much to everybody's kind comments and well wishes with my big Ramble update yesterday. I'm overwhelmed, to be honest, with the response I've got from subscribers and viewers and Ramblers, everything, really. So thank you to everybody. And it's there's so many things. You can sometimes focus on the negatives, because I even got a couple of negative, well, I got one negative comment yesterday on that same video, but I just don't do it. Just don't comment here. But that is significantly outweighed by the well wishers, and there are so many good people in the world, and I don't ever want to get blanketed again by negativity. So, well, I'm not naive to it. I know this is life, isn't it? You're going to get. I don't expect sunshine and roses, but sometimes people get so hung up on the negatives that you can't enjoy the positives. And yesterday was overwhelmingly positive for me, and I'm still buzzing today. I was up at 4, 5 o'clock this morning editing. I haven't stopped all day doing different bits for the Ramble. You may have seen us popping up on different social media platforms. I'm just really excited to get going with it. So there will be a new show on a Wednesday, which you can essentially say the show that follows this will be that, but it will officially start it from next week. And what I'm thinking of doing is making that from next week an open phone-in, because previously, obviously, we've got our 90 after 90 that we do, where our Ramblers get to call in and talk directly after the game. But I'm just going to see how we go with an open line forum. Sort of just anybody that wants to call in, we can have a chat about it. So, yeah, that's some of the things I'm thinking about. And yes, so full-time rambling is going to be immense. I cannot wait. I'm really excited for it. But you know, we keep grinding, don't we? We keep going. So we're looking at Derby now. We're looking at the Derby game. We will get on to Harry Clark. I know you're all here asking questions about Clark, and that's understandable because I've only just set up the other stream for it. So we'll get in some of your comments, and then we'll start the prep in terms of, we've got Born to be Wilder, where I pick my team to play Derby. And we've also got, which will be funny in a different way in a minute. And we've also got a Ramble rundown from some Rams fans. So see if you can probably guess who it will be, because they've joined the Ramble before. It will be Jake from Rams Talk. So there you go. That's spoiler out of the bag. So let's get started with the comments. It was Danny says, "Hi Jimmy lad, hope all's well. I think I'd start Hamza today for the next game, obviously, either for Vinny if he's still not ready for a full match, or Peck to give him a rest. Raksaki, O'Hare, BBD in front of them, Campbell or Cannon up top." Interesting. I heard we're going for Clark instead of Kenny, says Danny. Not sure what he's like. Any good? Up the Blades, up the right. Stick around, Dan. We'll have a chat about that, pal. Don't you worry. We've signed Clark already, says Jace. Hi, Jimmy, mate. I'm happy with Clark, but don't know much about him. Can he play centre-back as well as right-back? Yes, he can. Yeah, he can, pal. He's predominantly a right-back, but he's got all the physical attributes to do a good job as a centre-half as well. I think we'll be bringing him in as a right-back, though, personally. Might be wrong about that. David says, good evening, mate. Hamza and Vinny both to start Saturday. Another signing through the door, but still need a centre-half for me. Singing loud and proud on Saturday will not be easy as some think. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Apologies, I've got a little bit of a sniffle and a bad throat, so if I'm struggling a little bit, then I will power through. Don't worry, but I might just have to keep taking a sip of water. Brian says, looking forward to seeing your picks, Jimmy. Wonder if Hamza Chowdhury's coming in. Hamza Chowdhury coming in means Gilchrist goes to centre back. Well, should we crack on with it? Should we just have a look at it already? What I've picked in terms of Born to be Wild. Normally we do it the other way around, and we sort of get an idea of what the team's going to be. But I think everybody will be itching to see what options are available to us, really. And it's food for thought when you're thinking about who you would play. So have a look at this. Born to be wild.
Tell.
So this is Born to be Wilder. This is where I choose my team to play Derby. This is where my team comes in rather than the team that I think Chris Wilder will pick. So get your comments in if you agree, if you disagree. I want to know your lineups for Derby away on Saturday. But this is the team I'm going with. Michael Cooper in goal. It's not even a question at this point, is it? But obviously we have to highlight who's going to be between the sticks. Best goalkeeper in the Championship. I'll keep saying it. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Signing of the season for me. At right back, Alfie Gilchrist keeps his shirt. I appreciate there may be a new signing through the door very shortly. And if so, and he's fit and ready to go, then Harry Clark may well be that right back after the John Joe Kenny deal did, in fact, fall through. But at the moment, Alfie Gilchrist is my starting right back. He's had more good games than bad. And if he has to start this game, I'm okay with that. Next to Alfie is Anel Ahmedhodzic, the Bosnian international, who has had an up and down season so far. I thought he's looked fantastically well next to Harry Suter. I don't think he's looked the same player without him. And as I've said before, that's not necessarily Jack Robinson's fault. So Jack Robinson is alongside him, but it's for Anel really to concentrate on his own job and Jack Robinson to do his. It's likely that we bring in a centre-half to strengthen this position, but for the Derby game, it may come too soon. So Robbo and Anel are my centre-back pairing. Name me a better left-back than Harrison Burrows. I don't think you can in this league. He gets in all day long in his favoured position of left-back, where I think he is the biggest threat and most useful to our side. In front, this is where it gets tasty a little bit. Bringing back the big man, Vinny Souza starts in centre midfield. Absolute destroyer. He made a cameo appearance, didn't he, against Hull? And hopefully after that, he's greased the wheels a little bit and he's ready to go because I'm asking him to start this game for us. Next to him will also be new signing Hamza Chowdhury. Siddy Peck drops out for a well-needed rest. Tom Davis, it may well be too early for him after that injury that he picked up most recently. Hamza Chowdhury starts this game with Gus suspended. He's thrown into the fire straight from the off, and I've no doubt he'll be able to rise to the occasion. Really excited about what this centre midfield pairing could potentially do together. On the left, it's Ben Brereton Diaz. I think he's going to make this position his own. He'll certainly be given that chance. He's come in with a strong pedigree. Appreciate he's not had the best of seasons at Southampton, but we've seen what this man can do. Again, another one I'm really happy. He's now playing in the red and white stripes of Sheffield United. Ben Brereton Diaz starts on the left. In the 10, in the cam, if you like, Callum O'Hare. Callum O'Hare starts this game. His engine is incredible. I think he's the most improved player in our side, and he's a solid link between the midfield and the attack. Callum O'Hare thoroughly deserves his place in this lineup, and I expect him to have a good game on Saturday against the Derby team on a terrible run of form. This is where I go a little bit left field, or right field if you like. Right wing, I'm going Tyrese Campbell. Now, I know he's a striker. I know this. But bear with me. We've been using Brewster out there previously. Raksaki didn't look amazing when he first came back. I don't expect him to be firing on all cylinders straight away after a layoff. Andre Brooks hasn't had the best of times there either. I don't think this will be Campbell's long-term position. I see him as a striker. But I think he can certainly do a job there for us. He runs the channels really well. It allows us to bring on Raksaki on around 60 minutes with fresh legs, which I think might be the case if Gus Hamer were in this team, because I think Hamer would be in this Campbell role. Campbell also gives you the opportunity to switch to a 4-4-2, because he could go alongside up top. Callum O'Hare can drift outside to the right, and you've got a 4-4-2 set up, haven't you? So I think it's an adaptable selection in terms of how we're going to play. And up top, it's going to be Tom Cannon, the new signing, star man. Some people writing him off already because he didn't get up to much against Hull, but I thought he was starved of service personally. This man will be a player for us. I'm absolutely confident about it. And this is my team. I really like it as well. If this is the team that lines up at Derby on Saturday, I'll be confident going into kickoff. It's Michael Cooper in goal, Alfie Gilchrist right back, Anel Ahmedhodzic and Jack Robinson as centre halves. Harrison Burrows, the best left back in the league, in his favoured position of left back. In the middle, it's Vinny Souza and Hamza Chowdhury, the ball-winning midfielders, the destroyers. Both love a tackle. They're going to give it nice and easy to our creative players in front of them. That's Ben Brereton Diaz on the left. It's Tyrese Campbell on the right. And it's Callum O'Hare directly in front of them. And leading the line will be new signing Tom Cannon. And that's my team, and I really like it. I don't know whether you'll agree or not. I appreciate Campbell's a bit of a square peg in a round hole, but we all want Campbell to start. Some will think that he should be starting instead of Cannon. But this way you get to have them both on the pitch and potentially, as I said, go to a 4-4-2 mid-game if needed. So let me know what you think. Get your comments in down below. I'd be interested to hear your take on both my team and what team you would play as well. And that was Born to be Wilder. Born to be wild.
Tell.
Now then, hands up if you spotted the deliberate mistake, which wasn't deliberate at all. So, pulling the curtain back a little bit, like we like to do here, and sort of revealing some of the secrets behind the scenes. That little cluster there, the only way I can get the graphics working in real time is to pre-record that element of it. So that was a pre-done package that I did earlier today, just before Harry Clark was confirmed, obviously. So Harry Clark's now been confirmed. For me, in my team, Alfie's out, Harry's in. Sorry, Alf. I do like you as a player, but your confidence is on the floor at the minute. So, yeah, Harry Clark makes it into the 11. I needed a package as well because I've been off having a coughing fit. So, yeah, I'm glad you didn't have to see that. But, right, let's catch up with the rest of the comments. Let me know what you thought of that team. A little bit different with Campbell on the right. But, as I said, I can fully justify why I want to put him there. Glad we didn't sign Kenny, says Rye, refusing to play because he wanted to move. It doesn't sit well with me. More than happy with Clark. Up the Blades. Evening, by the way, says Rye. Up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble, up the Blades. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, says Steve. Glad to see the team shaping up nicely with a few additions. Absolutely right. Evening, Nipper. Now then, Jimmy, you full-time superstar. Thank you very much for your super chat. I did respond to it, pal, but I don't know if you've seen it. But thank you, pal. That's very much appreciated. A Leeds fan coming in and helping out a Sheffield United channel. That's wow. Thank you, mate. David says, we have to get this one right, Jimmy. It's important we don't let Derby break their bad run. Oh, I got this wrong the other night, didn't I? I got this wrong. Up the full-time Ramble. I thought there was a swear involved in there. At one point. Up the Blades, like and subscribe, please. Thank you, David. Appreciate that, pal. Danny says, you shouldn't worry about going all in for the Ramble. Have faith. Great channel, great banter, great fans. Up the Blades. Now let's smash Derby. Thank you, pal. That's a lovely thing to say. Kyle says, don't see anything wrong with Kenny doing that personally if it's for family reasons. Is that what he said, Kyle? I didn't see the reasoning behind it. At the end of the day, we've stopped him from going. They've stopped him from going for the sake of potentially 700k when they're losing for nothing. I think it's a daft move by Hertha Berlin, to be honest. I don't understand it, and it's cost him a move, hasn't it? Also, I'm very glad you've gone full time, says Steve. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. So am I. Sam says, I'm going for a 2-0 win. I feel we will win at Derby. I hope you're right, pal. I hope you're right. Great battle lines, Jim. Great banter with you and Connor, says Chris. Yeah, it was a bit of a stitch up today, weren't it? To be fair, I had to expect it. He played one of those clips that he clipped up of me, and, just let's all laugh at the Sheffield United fan, which is, there'll be swings and roundabouts. It's a marathon, not a sprint, Chris. So we'll get our time again. Don't worry about that. Just need a centre back now and fast, says Jack. Well, Clark can play there. So we'll see. Hi, Jimmy. I'm going 2-0 to us. My team for Saturday is Cooper, Clark, Anel, Robinson, Burrows. See if you finish that off, Matthew. Yeah. Cooper, Clark, Anel, Robinson, Burrows, Brereton, Diaz, Souza, Hamza, Raksaki, O'Hare, and Campbell. So you're going Campbell up top and Raksaki on the wing, as opposed to Cannon up top like I've gone and Campbell on the wing. Interesting, pal. Interesting, mate. Even negative Chris, my dad, says Matt, says that it's been a good window, so you know it must have been a good one. Also, those posters in the back are absolutely beautiful. Definitely going to get a couple. Make sure you put Blades Ramble at the checkout. Yeah, I agree, pal. They are a work of art. I've ordered some more myself. Up at 5 editing. So yeah, that's dedication. It's amazing when it's now your livelihood, Sarah, and everything depends on this working. Talk about motivation to get things right. So I don't know if you've seen, I don't know what platforms people follow me on, but there were shorts on stories, whatever they're called, on Instagram, Reels. They post through to Facebook as well. I were uploading TikToks. I did 3 different ones and linked them back to last night's video. It's just to get more eyes on the Ramble, really, and spread the word. So I know you guys are out doing your bit as well, sort of championing us. So thank you. Up the full-time Ramble, says Will. Thank you to one of our platinum Ramblers. What a top man. Kyle says, thanks, Prince Abdullah, for selling to owners who can back Wilder. Okay. Evening, Jimmy, says Tom. Are we thinking he's the next signing? Don't know. Do not know, to be honest. I didn't know much about Harry Clark until it was mentioned yesterday. So we did a bit of digging. And on the video that'll follow this, I'll just show you a little bit about what I know. And it will be show you rather than tell you, because people learn and take on information in different ways. So when you see how I present a new player to you, I just want your opinions on it more than anything else. Do you like it? Because we're trying new stuff here. I don't want you to compare like Sheffield United Way will tell you stats on players, and for some people that's really interesting. I haven't got the patience to sit and get the figures together and all this sort of stuff. My brain's going at 100 miles an hour all the time. So I work better visually, personally. So I've put a bit of a video together. See if you like it. If you don't, we can change it up, because the success of this channel so far has been because it's open for people to give their feedback. So if you stick around for the video after this, you'll be able to let me know exactly what you think. It's only a short one, but it's something new. So I'm always keen to get people's opinion. Jack says, how do we fit everyone around the team who's dropping out? Well, you've just seen my team, pal. You've just seen my team. HC was Harry Clark, Jimmy. Yes. Yeah, I twigged that. Oh, yeah, okay. Daniel says, hey, Jim, did you see Ollie Norwood's free kick for Stockport? Unreal. I haven't seen it yet. I think I've been live more than I've been offline recently over the last couple of days, but I am desperate to see it. Any idea why the Kenny deal fell through, says Chris? Yeah, it was Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin would not budge, did not want to move on. Yeah, really unfortunate, really. Look, he's their player. They have the right to keep hold of him. So I'm with the comment earlier in terms of it doesn't bode well if he's kicking off to try and get away. It is slightly different with him being in a foreign country, and you can sort of lean on the family ties. But still, he's got a contract. He signed a contract. He knew he was going to be there. He didn't seem unhappy before the Sheffield United interest. So we've missed out on a good player. He's missed out on regular game time with us. But Hertha Berlin keep their asset. They're probably going to miss out financially at the end of the season, but that's their right, isn't it? Jack says, also, people need to back off from Alfie. He's hardly put a foot wrong, and he's young. He is very young. He is very young, and I try to keep reminding people of him and Raksaki, even though they've come from a higher level of the Premier League, obviously, particularly Alfie coming from a club of the pedigree of Chelsea. They come with a certain expectation, but they're both 21-year-old. So they are still learning. They're not the finished article. If they were, then Chelsea would have made a decision on them. So we can't be so forgiving of Sidney Peck having a dodgy game, which he has had every now and again, not consistently, but he has had the odd dodgy game. Or Andre Brooks, who's had a couple. And then absolutely hammer Alfie as soon as he hits the bricks a bit in terms of form. But in terms of not putting a foot wrong, Jack, the last few games, particularly Swansea and Hull, he was poor. And I'm a big Alfie fan. I really like him, and I want him to do well. I hope he stays at the club. And this Harry Clark thing doesn't mean he's on his way back out. I don't think it will mean that, but you can't. It's fair that people criticised his performances recently, and I'd have to say that as well. Sarah says, I think Vinny makes a massive difference. I agree, not only to the midfield, but to the defence too. Great point. He's such a protector in front of that back four. We all sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? We're also upset about the loss of Harry Souttar. Couldn't find the right word, so we'll go with that. That we think, oh, well, since Souttar's gone, defence has gone to pot. Well, it just so happens that Vinny's been a part of that conversation as well. Since Vinny's been out of the team, we haven't had that protection in front of the back four. So, yeah, it's a huge loss, Sarah. I completely agree with you there. What a window, Jimmy, says Craig. Craig loving it like that. Not sure about Tyrese on the right, says Danny. That's fair. If you start Cannon, then let Ty have a run at tired defenders for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, absolutely fair argument. I'm not against it at all. It's just an idea and it's something different. Good evening, and I want them both in. I'd love to see Cannon. I think we will play Cannon because of what we've paid for him, but I don't think Ty should miss out personally because of the form he were in before he got injured. Excuse me. Good evening, Jimmy, says James. Do you think they will have had enough time to gel? Lots of new faces to adjust. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Not particularly, mate, but we're not in the sort of ideal scenario where we can slowly drip feed them in, are we? If they're fit, then there's chances are they could be thrown in because we haven't had enough fit players in the right positions. It was the same at the beginning of the season when all the new faces came in and we made it work. We shall see. We shall see. Sarah says we seem to miss the breaking up of opposition's play and the cleaning up in front of the defence that Vinny brings. And you said that before. I said my bit as well. So fair play. We're on the same wavelength with that. Evening ramblings, says Avril. Can't argue with that team, Jim, but Campbell may be a bit of a waste on the right, up the Blades, up the right. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a clean fit, is it? Thomas says, do we see Ryan One going out on loan maybe to League One? You've got to think he does because we play with one striker and he's fifth now. There's Cannon, Campbell, Moore, Brewster, and then Ryan One. He's got to go out because he's blocked. He's blocked from getting on. Matthew says, I don't see Gilchrist playing on Saturday. He needs a good rest and Reece. I don't now. When I did that team, he was playing. On paper, looks really strong, that Jimmy says. Johnny, I like your picks, but I would swap Tyrese and O'Hare around. Yeah, maybe. That's not a bad shout either. Not a bad shout. Sarah agrees with you, Matthew. Daniel says, I hate complain. Absolutely fuming over the Steel City kickoff being changed. The last one was 4:30 here in Canada, and they go and make the second one at the same time. It's it's unfortunate, isn't it, for you guys? I understand in terms of policing. I assume this has been done for TV though, because it's moved days, hasn't it? It hasn't just moved back to an early kickoff. It's moved days, so it'll likely be another TV scheduling. It's not right, is it? The fans are never considered, and I know you're likely in a minority, Daniel, being abroad, but still, there's no consideration for that, is there? There's no. I think the club need to do better, and it's not necessarily the club, is it? But I think more needs to be done about just the short, sharp nature of this. They should be pre-planned ahead of the season. Why are we waiting until a month before to change everything up? You think we get Kenny anyway at the end of the season for free? Maybe, Matthew. Maybe. I think it's probably more likely if we don't go up. So we'll see. We'll see. Daniel says, I feel there's a lack of thought for international fans there. Yeah. I get the Blades aren't a club with the most fans in other countries, but to change it to an early kickoff twice gets me angry. No, I'm not surprised, mate. I'm not surprised. What goes around comes around, Connor. That's right, Sarah. Matilda Shakes. Good evening, pal. Hope you're well. Yes, Jimmy, buzzing for you going full time. Great time to be a Blade. Can't fault the transfer window so far. Done way more than I thought we would. Be amazing to get another one or two across the line. I think it'll be one. To be honest. When Saturdays come, evening Bry, evening Ramblers, Clark starts all day for me, Jimmy. Gilchrist out of form. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. I know. Lisa Ziggo, Cooper, Clark, Gilchrist. Oh, Gilchrist and Anel. So Robbo comes out of Lee's team. Burrows, Vinny and Hamza, Brooks, O'Hare, BBD, and Campbell. Wow. Okay. Enjoy battle lines, Jim, says Lee. Good banter, and you and Connor have good chemistry on screen. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I remember a few years back, Derby was an awful run-up step. Sheffield United. Yes, you guess it. Derby won 2-0. Not this time, please, Blades. 2-0 Blades, says Chris. James says, loving your neurodiverse approach for all your Ramblers. Keep it up. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. The main aim is to be inclusive and make people feel valued and included. Because the only difference between us is I've got a microphone and I'm on screen. It doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong, does it? Danny says, happy people are giving the younger players some slack. Younger players are notoriously inconsistent. That's why the Prem teams loan them out so they can improve this. Absolutely right. I agree with you on Alfie, but like everyone else, he's tired. Just thought he's had hardly any rotation. Femi's been injured. To be fair, though, he didn't do, and I'm going to go way over time like I always do because we've still got the rundown to do. But Jack said, yeah, I agree. Femi has been injured. He's hardly had a let up, but for ages, Alfie were coming off at like 60 minutes, 70 minutes, weren't he? He couldn't get through a 90. Anyway, before we go too far over time, I'm going to get a little bit of a view from the other side. This is a Ramble rundown from Derby.
Hello, Jimmy. Thank you very much for having me on. I'm Jake from Ramble Podcast. We're a Derby podcast, and we have complete fan coverage of Derby County, which is not very fun at the minute, and that leads straight on to your first question. Honest answer, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. There's not a lot of faith in Paul Warne amongst the fan base at the minute. It's 4 wins in 25. We've won 2 games since the start of November. It's been a terrible, terrible run. I don't know. To be truthful, I don't know. Does he need more players? Yeah, probably. But can he get more out of the players he's got? Also, yeah, probably. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Before the window closes, we need to be really smart in the transfer market. Erin Cashin, who is probably our best player, is looking like he's going to go to Brighton for around £6.5 million, which would mean we need 2 centre-backs as Curtis Nelson's done his ACL. So we're down to 0 centre-backs currently. Nat Phillips is also out with a groin injury. So we need at least 2 centre-backs coming in. We need an attacking midfielder. We keep trying to shoehorn players into that role and it doesn't keep working. We probably need another winger as well. We've addressed our striker problem with Lars-Jürgen Salveson, who looks a really good acquisition, but we've got so many holes in this Derby team that, yeah, I think we've got a lot to do. Formation, I don't know, is my honest answer. We've played so many formations this season. We make about 5 changes a game. We have no stability. Last game we played a 3-5-2. This game, I'd be surprised if we didn't play 2 up front again. Now we've got Jerry Yates and Lars-Jürgen Salveson in the team. So could it be a 4-4-2? I don't know. Could he play Jerry Yates a bit deeper? I don't know. I think it's most likely going to be a back 3. We have no centre-backs, so we decided to play 3 almost centre-backs instead of 2 actual centre-backs. Who's the main threat? I mean, I mentioned him already. Lars-Jürgen Salveson, he's great in the air, really dangerous. Looks a bit like Haaland, which immediately makes him a better player. Made his first start at the weekend, scored, looked really bright and promising. And Kenzo Howman in midfield can pick a pass. Whether he's allowed to get into a position to do that, we don't know. But he can pick a pass and he can create chances when he gets the opportunity to play a bit further forward. Majority of our other dangerous players are all injured, so I won't worry too much about that. But Jerry Yates is a pretty good player up front as well. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but he's quite smart, he's quite clever, and if you make a mistake, he'll take advantage of it. There's a lot. There's quite a lot. I mean, if I was going to say anyone's the weak link, I'd say it's the manager and the system that we play. It leaves us wide open at times. I mean, poor Craig Forsyth playing centre-back, first team. I don't know if I'd necessarily say he's a weak link, but I don't think he's been fantastic recently. I mean, we've lost 6 in a row in the league, 7 in a row if you include the cup. There's not going to be many strong links. In fact, if I was going to say anyone's the weak link, I'd say Ben Osborne. Damn! In my personal opinion, I think you owe us 3 points just for forcing us to have him for a season, because he has played in a defensive midfield role for most of the season. He's looked miles off it. He's looked nowhere near good enough to play in this league. So yeah, if I was going to say anyone, Ben Osborne, you'll just run straight through him. It'll go the same as every other game. We'll have a great first 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes if we're feeling good that day. And then you'll grow into the game a bit more. We might have a chance before half time, miss it obviously. And then second half, you'll come out after half time, you'll score a goal, and then we'll, you know, heroically try and break you down and get a result late on and just fall at the last hurdle. And yeah, we'll come out and say how unlucky we were. That seems to be the way it goes at the minute. It's going to be a tactical battle, which I have a feeling you'll win. We're missing so many players at the back. We've got so many injuries. We've lost 4 players to hamstring injuries in the last week alone. 4 players to hamstring injury. I mean, it's ridiculous. And, you know, there's a lot of theories about the reason behind that, but a lot of it involves the manager, because apparently that happened at Rotherham too. I mean, you're quite good. That's a strength. I think you move the ball really well. I think you get forward really well. I think you're good on the counter-attack as well. We really struggle when teams hit us on the break, and the pace that you've got, you know, going forwards will be really dangerous against us, and I think we'll struggle to defend it. I mean, you've got some absolute quality players in that team, and we just couldn't match it last time. And again, if Ben Osborne's in the pivot up against, you know, Gustavo Harmer or something like that, we'll get hammered. Head prediction, I think we'll lose 2-0. We never get battered because our goalkeeper's just that good. But at the same time, we'll probably lose. My heart says 1-1. We always have a good record against Sheffield United, so I'd like to hope that we can continue that. We need it. Last time we almost went down, or last time we did go down, we beat you 2-1 at home. So if that could happen again, that'd be perfect. At Ramsort Podcast, if you want to hear all about Derby and get some talking points. I'm Jake Barker 1212 on Twitter as well. If you fancy checking that out, a lot of Derby talking points and putting things out there. I'm sure if we win, it'll be very positive. If we lose, it'll be very negative as we edge closer to our record of defeats in a row, which is 8, by the way. So, you know, we've got 2 games to go. Can we get there? We'll find out. I think you'll come top 2. I really do. I think you've got a lot of quality. I mean, even with the points deduction, the fact that you're still up there says a lot. You've got a real quality side, and you've done what all teams should do that aren't financially, you know, really, really backed. You've come down, you've not spent masses of money, but you've invested smartly. And I think a lot of teams just throw money at it and fail. You know, we've seen Norwich, we've seen Watford, they've thrown money at players and not invested correctly. I think you've done everything right, and that's why you're up there. So I think you'll end up going up in the end, which, you know, would be nice to see back in the Premier League. Yeah, boy! Where we'll finish, God knows. If one stays, I think we'll probably go down. If one goes, I think we could stay up if a new manager comes in and sorts us out. But to be fair, we could even stay up if one stays. It all depends on what players we can get back fit. If we could have a full team, we'd probably be quite strong, but we just never usually have that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. So thank you so much for having me. Really, really appreciate it, Jimmy. Have a great evening and good luck for the rest of the season after the weekend.
Top man, thank you to Jake for that. Go and check out the Rams Talk podcast if you would. Good lads and know this stuff, obviously. Not the most confident boys at the moment, which is understandable looking at their form. But excuse me, my throat is killing. But we are well over time on this stream. Stick around. I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to carry your comments over to the next stream. So I won't be able to pull them up on screen, but I'm going to try and still read them off from this one. So see you in 2 minutes. So for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Let's go talk about Harry Clark. Up the